Next topic. BAM TV, Episode 2, Servers and Clients, hosted by JJ the Boss. Location, riding shotgun in the compressed air supercharger Impala, dashboard now running Niagara 4 as an infotainment system. Intro, full chaos mode. The Impala's airbagged suspension bounces violently as JJ the Boss slams the start broadcast button. The Tweedle Twins Tweedle Lady Z and Tweedle Sandra Z are furiously typing BACnet commands into a holographic dashboard while Leah G, Miriama K, and Sky B argue over a rogue DHCP server in the backseat. JJ the Boss, yo, yo, yo. Welcome to BAM TV Episode 2, where we turn servers from mysterious IT boogeymen into your new best friends. Today's question: what the heck is a BAS server, and why does it matter more than the last cup of coffee at a 3 a.m. commissioning session? The Impala supercharger whines as Niagara 4 boots up, projecting a hologram of a server rack onto the windshield. Servers versus clients. The Impala break down the server, aka the Impala supercharger. What it does: a server is like the compressed air supercharger under your BAS hood. It forces data where it needs to go, fast. Where it sits, in the trunk, because servers love dark, cold places, just like Sky B's sense of humor. Key services: web server, IIS, equals the radio, serves up those sweet HTML5 graphics. Database, SQL, equals the black box, stores all your trends, alarms, and questionable setpoint overrides. Virtualization, Hyper-V, equals the NOS button, because sometimes you need more power. JJ's pro tip: using a server as your daily workstation is like revving your supercharger in park. Don't do it, you'll burn out the turbos, and your IT team's patience. The client, aka the Tweedle Twins iPad of doom. What it does: a client is like Tweedle Lady Z's tablet. It requests data from the server and displays it, preferably without crashing. Where it sits: passenger seat, because clients are high maintenance and demand attention. Types of clients: thick client equals a 1980s car phone, requires installation, hates updates, and takes forever to load. Thin client equals a Bluetooth connection, lightweight, runs in a browser, and won't crash your system. JJ's chaos moment: back in my day, we used Java thick clients which were about as reliable as a BACnet MSTP network during a lightning storm. Now, HTML5 or walk home. When do you need a server? The airbagged suspension test: small site, 1 to 2 buildings, equals no server needed. Just use a supervisory device, like Leah G's trusty Jace. Medium site, 3+ buildings, equals server time. Think of it like adding airbags: you don't need them until you really need them. Large campus, 20+ buildings, equals cloud that server. Because managing 20 Jaces is like herding cats on caffeine. JJ's rule of thumb: if your field controllers outnumber your X's, get a server. Virtualization, the NOS of servers. The Impala's dashboard flickers as JJ pulls up Amazon Web Services. Virtualization equals turbo mode. Run multiple servers on one machine, like fitting the Tweedle Twins, Leah G, and Sky B in the trunk. Failover: if one server crashes, another instantly takes over, like Miriama K fixing a BACnet error before you even notice. JJ's warning: virtualizing without a plan is like hitting NOS in a school zone. Fast? Yes. Smart? Not so much. Final chaos, server war stories. The Impala's horn blares the Windows startup sound as JJ wraps up. JJ the Boss: alright, fam. Recap time: servers equals superchargers. They push data. Clients equals backseat drivers. They ask for data. Virtualization equals NOS. Use it wisely. Next episode, we'll explain why BACnet/IP versus MSTP is like choosing between Wi-Fi and carrier pigeons. Stay tuned. The Impala disappears in a cloud of binary smoke, leaving only a trending graph of chaos behind. Outro, keep your servers cool, your clients thin, and your setpoints locked down. Catch ya next time. Cut to black. A lone alarm notification blinks ominously in the distance. End scene. P.S. If your server crashes, just blame the Tweedle Twins. They probably touched something. Alice's Adventures in Serverland Episode 2, The Great Server Tea Party, with very loud clients and a bouncing Impala carriage. Once upon a turbocharged Tuesday in Wonderland, Alice tumbled into a magical Impala, with a supercharged dashboard that ran on Niagara 4, tea leaves, and absolute nonsense. She wasn't alone. Oh no. The White Rabbit was frantically checking alarms. The Mad Hatter was rewriting firewall rules with a spoon. The March Hare spilled database jelly on the dashboard. The Tweedle Twins, D and Dumb, were arguing over who unplugged the DHCP hedgehog. Then boom. The Impala bounced so hard it knocked off the Queen's hat. The Griffin squawked from the trunk, "Alarm! Alarm! The SQL server's on fire." "Well, kinda warm." "The Bass server equals the teapot." Alice asked, "What is a server?" The Cheshire Cat appeared upside down on the rearview mirror and grinned, "A server is just the very big teapot that pours data tea into everyone's cups. It's in the trunk, where it's dark, cold, and far away from silly hands like the dormouse," said the caterpillar, blowing smoke into a USB port. "The server does this, makes web pages dance. Like a tea party on HTML5. Stores all the gossip, called trends and alarms. Spins really fast if you poke it." "The client equals a very needy teacup." "Then what's a client?" asked Alice. The Hatter yelled, "The client is me. I want tea now. And I want a dashboard." The Queen of Hearts screamed, "Off with the loading time." Clients sit in the front seat, tapping on tablets and shouting, "Gimme temperatures. Gimme graphics. Gimme tea." Types of clients: thick client equals like a turtle in molasses. Takes forever to load. Also smells weird. Thin client equals like a spider on roller skates. Super fast. Runs in a browser. The Dodo said, "Back in my day, we used Java, and we liked it." Everyone ignored him. Virtual servers equals NOS for Wonderland. The Mock Turtle cried into his SQL logs, "I need more servers." The Red Queen appeared with a giant AWS cloud cannon and roared, "Let's run 5 servers in one. And give each one a flamingo." The Griffin gave Alice a very serious look. Virtualization means if one server crashes, another will catch it, like Tweedledee catching Tweedledum during the tea cake cart flip. When do you need a server? One house equals no server. Just use a Jace, or a trained dormouse. 3 castles equals yes server. Because flamingos get cranky without one. 20 towers equals cloud time. Let the cloud rain data like jam sandwiches. JJ the Boss, in full Wonderland regalia, revved the Impala and shouted, "If you have more field controllers than teacups, get a server." Chaos level 10, final tea splash. Suddenly, the Knave of Hearts tripped over a network cable. The White Queen's screen froze. The March Hare accidentally virtualized a croissant. The King of Hearts said, "My mouse turned into a hedgehog." The Queen of Hearts yelled, "Off with the USB." JJ the Boss, now wearing the caterpillar's sunglasses, said, "Remember, kids, servers are the teapots. Clients are the screaming teacups. And virtualization? That's putting 5 flamingos in one teacup. Carefully." End scene. A lone BACnet fault alarm blinked from a floating jelly sandwich. Alice blinked back. Coming next, Episode 3, The Caterpillar's Magical Setpoints, Who are you, and why is your Vav so grumpy? Would you like to continue to the next chapter in chaos? Or shall we replay the tea party with more JSO and crumpets? Let me know if you want this exported as a clean PDF or doc for sharing with the crew or the shop floor. Next topic. BAM TV, Episode 3 Local Area Networks. Intro, Network Chaos Mode. The Impala's airbagged suspension bounces violently as JJ slams the start broadcast button. The Tweedle Twins Tweedle Lady Z and Tweedle Sandra Z are furiously typing BACnet commands into a holographic dashboard while Leah G, Miriama K, and Sky B argue over a rogue DHCP server in the backseat. JJ the boss, yo, yo, yo. Welcome to BAM TV Episode 3, where we turn local area networks, LANs, from IT jargon into something even Sky B can understand. Today's question: what the heck is a LAN, and why does it matter more than the last donut at a 3 a.m. commissioning session? The Impala supercharger whines as Niagara 4 boots up, projecting a hologram of a network switch onto the windshield. LANs, the Impala Breakdown 1. The physical layer, aka the Impala's wiring harness. What it does: the physical layer is like the compressed air lines in your supercharger. It's the actual wires, Cat5/Cat6, that carry the ones and zeros, aka the digital exhaust fumes. Where it sits, under the hood, because nobody sees it until it breaks. Key players: Leah G equals the Ethernet cable, always reliable, but hates sharp bends. Miriama K equals the fiber optic line, faster than Sky B on caffeine, but fragile. JJ's pro tip: calling Cat6 Ethernet is like calling the Impala a horse. Close, but not quite right. The data link layer, aka the Tweedle Twins switchboard. What it does: the data link layer is like the Impala's dashboard. It organizes traffic using MAC addresses, the license plates of the network world. Where it sits: glove compartment, because switches love hiding in closets. Key concepts: MAC addresses equals unique IDs for devices, like BACnet MSTP Max, but fancier. ARP table equals the Tweedle Twins' little black book, keeps track of who's who. JJ's chaos moment: if your BACnet devices start ghosting you, check the ARP table. They might have changed their MAC address after a firmware update. Drama queens. The network layer, aka Sky B's GPS. What it does: the network layer is like the Impala's navigation system. It uses IP addresses to route traffic between LANs. Where it sits: dashboard screen, because IP addresses love attention. Key players: static IPS equals reserved parking spots, great for critical devices like BAS servers. Dynamic IPS, DHCP, equals musical chairs, fun until your Jace loses its seat. JJ's rule of thumb: if IT insists on DHCP for your controllers, ask them how they'd feel if their coffee machine changed locations every morning. Why LANs matter in BAS: the airbagged suspension test, small site, 1 to 2 buildings, equals 1 LAN, like a single airbag, simple but effective. Medium site, 3+ buildings, equals multiple LANs with VLANs, like dual airbags. Redundancy is key. Large campus, 20+ buildings, equals subnets plus routers, like airbagged suspension, smooth, controlled, and it approved. JJ's warning: mixing BACnet IP and MSTP on the same LAN is like putting diesel in the Impala. It won't end well. Final chaos, network war stories. The Impala's horn blares the Windows error sound as JJ wraps up. JJ the boss: alright, fam. Recap time: physical layer equals wires, Leah G's domain. Data link layer equals Max, Tweedle Twins drama. Network layer equals IPS, Sky B's GPS chaos. Next episode, we'll explain why VLANs are like carpool lanes, great in theory, but nobody uses them right. Stay tuned. The Impala disappears in a cloud of binary smoke, leaving only a ping request hanging in the air. Outro: keep your Macs unique, your IPS static, and your IT team bribed with coffee. Catch ya next time. Cut to black. A lone network cable unplugged, notification blinks ominously. End scene. P.S. If your LAN crashes, Just blame the Tweedle Twins. They probably unplugged something. JJ's Adventures in Landerland, a Wonderland tale of networks and nonsense once upon a tick-tocking time, in a turbocharged tea party of tangled wires and blinking lights, a curious little car called the Impala bounced down the network rabbit hole. Behind the steering wheel sat JJ the boss, grinning wide like the Cheshire Cat after a software update. "Welcome to Landerland," JJ shouted as the airbagged suspension bounced them into a world where cables giggled, servers sulked, and network switches played croquet with flamingos. Suddenly bam, a puff of binary smoke poofed up and out popped Tweedle Lady Z and Tweedle Sandra Z, juggling Ethernet cables like they were jam tarts. Leah G, dressed like a fiber optic fairy with Cat 6 wings. Sky B, waving a DHCP wand that randomly changed everyone's IPS just for fun. Miriama K, floating by on a magic packet, declaring, "This Ian's more loopy than the Queen's croquet game." Chapter 1, The Physical Layer Tea Party. Alice peeked under the hood of the Impala and gasped. "Why, it's full of spaghetti." "No, no," said the Mad Hatter, pouring network soup into his teacup, "those are Cat 6 cables, they carry the ones and zeros. You mustn't eat them, unless you're the caterpillar." The White Rabbit, late as always, tripped over a fiber line and yelled, "Oh my poor paws. Someone tell Sky B to stop twisting the cables into a topiary garden." Chapter 2, The MAC address maze. Down in the data link layer, the Dormouse napped on a network switch while the Tweedle Twins scribbled MAC addresses into their ARP notebook, which they accidentally dipped in jam. JJ, popping out of a teapot labeled Niagara 4, whispered, "Every device has a MAC address, just like the Queen of Hearts has soldiers. If you mix them up, heads might roll." Just then, Bill the Lizard plugged in two controllers backwards and poof, the Mock Turtle began crying because his packet got lost. Chapter 3, The IP Address Adventure. The network layer was a swirling GPS map with IPS zipping around like the March Hare at a caffeine convention. "Static IPS are like having a reserved teacup at the Mad Hatter's table," said Leah G. "And dynamic IPS?" asked Alice. "Musical chairs," said the King of Hearts, who promptly lost his chair to a router. The Red Queen screamed, "Off with their subnet masks," while the Griffin and Mock Turtle tried to subnet with crayon and pudding. Chapter 4, Why LANs Matter in Wonderland. At the Queen's absurd network croquet match, flamingos were switches, hedgehogs were IP packets, and every missed swing caused a DNS error. JJ rode in on a VLAN flavored unicorn and hollered, "One LAN is fine for a tea party. But for a Wonderland palace? You'll need VLANs, routers, and a good IT wizard like the White Queen." The Jabberwock, misunderstood and running a packet sniffer, grumbled from a firewalled cave, "You can't mix BACnet MSTP and IP, you daft rabbits." Chapter 5, Final LAN Chaos. With one final ping, the Impala vanished into thin air, which smelled faintly of burned copper and jammed packets. All that remained was a blinking network cable unplugged warning, and the Queen yelling, "Who stole my static IP?" JJ the boss popped out of the thimble from the caucus race and winked, "All right, team. Keep your wires happy like Leah G, track your Macs like the Tweedle Twins, and for heaven's sake, give your devices real IPS or the Queen might croquet your switch." He blew a cloud of binary smoke shaped like a teacup and rode off shouting, "Next episode, VLANs like teacups for traffic. Stay tuned, you curious cats." The end. Unless the Knave of Hearts unplugged the router again, would you like a matching version of episode 4 with VLANs and Wonderland Chaos too? Next topic. BAM TV, episode 4, How to Create a BAS Training Program. Intro, Training Chaos Mode. The Impala's airbagged suspension bounces violently as JJ slams the start broadcast button. The Tweedle Twins, Tweedle Lady Z and Tweedle Sandra Z, are furiously typing BACnet commands into a holographic dashboard while Leah G, Miriama K, and Sky B argue over a rogue Bob box in the backseat. JJ the boss, "Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to BAM TV episode 4, where we turn BAS training programs from boring HR paperwork into something even Sky B can't mess up. Today's question: how do you train a BAS tech without losing your mind, or your last donut? The Impala supercharger whines as Niagara 4 boots up, projecting a hologram of a skill matrix onto the windshield. The 7-step BAS training plan, Impala style. 1. Define the skill set, aka the Impala's owner's manual, what it does. Like the compressed air supercharger specs, you gotta know what skills your team needs. Key players: Leah G equals HVAC sequences, the brain of the operation. Miriama K equals electrical terminations, keeps the sparks flying. Sky B equals BACnet/IP networking, the wild card. JJ's pro tip: a programmer who can't read an HVAC sequence is like an Impala with no supercharger, all noise, no power. Evaluate skills, aka the Tweedle Twins pop quiz, what it does. Like the Impala's dyno test, you gotta measure what's under the hood. Key concepts: quantitative tests equals timed VAV installs, Leah G's favorite. Qualitative tests equals explaining a reheat sequence, Tweedle Lady Z's nightmare. JJ's chaos moment: if your techs can't wire a transformer faster than Sky B can eat a donut, you've got problems. Strengths and weaknesses, aka the airbagged suspension test, what it does. Like the Impala suspension, balance is key. Key players: strengths equals what they're good at, Leah G equals sequences, Miriama K equals wiring. Weaknesses equals what makes them cry, Sky B equals anything involving patience. JJ's rule of thumb: focus on strengths unless the weakness is forgets to wear pants to work, then maybe address that. Pick your strategy, aka NOS or neutral. Option 1, turbocharge strengths, like adding NOS to Leah G's sequence mastery. Option 2, fix critical weaknesses, like teaching Sky B not to unplug servers for fun. JJ's warning: trying to fix every weakness is like tuning an Impala for off-roading, pointless and messy. Lay out the plan, aka the Impala's GPS route. Skill-based training equals mastering one thing at a time, like teaching BACnet/IP to Miriama K. Task-based training equals hands-on chaos, like letting Sky B fix a live server. JJ's pro tip: skill training is like a GPS, task training is like Sky B driving blindfolded. Choose wisely. Implement the plan, aka hit the gas. Dedicated time equals like the Impala's pit stops, schedule weekly training. Competition equals leaderboards for fastest VAV programming, winner gets donuts. JJ's chaos moment: if your training is just a safety meeting with stale donuts, your team's skills are staler than those donuts. Record everything, aka the black box. Track progress equals like the Impala's ECU logs, document skills. Adjust roles equals if Sky B can't program, maybe he should stick to unplugging things. Oops. JJ's final tip: training without records is like a supercharger with no boost gauge, you'll never know if it's working. Final chaos, training war stories. The Impala's horn blares the Windows error sound as JJ wraps up. JJ the boss: alright, fam. Recap time: define skills, Leah G equals sequences, Sky B equals chaos. Test skills: faster than a donut disappears. Find strengths, and ignore weaknesses unless they're illegal. Pick a strategy, NOS or neutral, no in between. Plan it out, skill task, always. Implement, weekly training, stale meetings. Record it, or pretend it never happened. Next episode: why IT hates giving you remote access, feed Sky B accidentally deleting a firewall. Stay tuned. The Impala disappears in a cloud of binary smoke, leaving only a low skill level warning on the dash. Outro: keep your skills sharp, your training fun, and your Sky BS away from the server room. Catch ya next time. Alice's Adventures in BAS Training Wonderland, BAM TV, Episode 4, Chaos Level 10. Once upon a bouncy, binary morning, Alice climbed into a magical, airbagged Impala with flashing buttons, rainbow steam, and a steering wheel shaped like a donut. JJ the boss, wearing a Mad Hatter hat made of Cat 6 cables, hollered, "Hold on tight, sugar plums. We're racing through Wonderland to build a bass training program and it's gonna be wilder than tea with the Dormouse." In the back seat, the Tweedle Twins Lady Z and Sandra Z were mashing buttons labeled BACnet and Oops. Leah G was trying to read a sequence of operations scroll, Miriama K was taping wires to a dodo, and Sky B was trying to plug a server into a teacup. Again. Step 1, what skills do you need? Asked the White Rabbit. Alice found a scroll with HVAC written in jelly. The White Rabbit shouted, "You're late. Make a list." Leah G is the brain bunny, she reads sequences faster than the queen plays croquet. Miriama K is the sparkle wizard, wires everything even the griffin's toaster. Sky B is the, wild card, BACnet/IP? Or just BACnet oops. JJ's tip, a tech with no skill list is like the Mad Hatter's tea party, loud, confusing, and no one knows what time it is. Step 2, let's test M. It's the Queen's pop quiz. The Queen of Hearts shouted, "Off with their wires," as she handed out VOV quizzes and asked them to explain what reheat meant using soup. Quant tests, fastest VOV install wins a donut. Qual tests, explain why the fan doesn't spin in rhyme or face the Knave of Hearts. JJ's warning, if they can't wire a relay before the Cheshire Cat vanishes, ya got problems. Step 3, strengths versus weaknesses, like croquet with flamingos, the Red Queen and White Queen debated. Leah G is great with sequences. Miriama K wires blindfolded. Sky B once unplugged the Griffin mid-training. JJ says, ignore minor weaknesses, unless someone forgets pants. Then, maybe talk. Step 4, pick your strategy, eat me or drink me. Should you boost the strong skills, like eat me cake, or fix the messes, like drink me potion that shrinks confusion? Add NOS to Leah G with advanced sequences. Teach Sky B not to plug the router into the soup. JJ's note, fixin' everything makes your Impala fly like a Jabberwocky. That's bad, by the way. Step 5, make a plan. Ask the caterpillar blew smoke rings shaped like training steps, skill training equals learn one thing, little Alice. Task training equals jump into the fire and hope the Dormouse packed marshmallows. JJ says, skill training equals GPS. Task training equals Sky B steering blindfolded with a flamingo. Step 6, do it. Launch the Impala. Set time aside like Tuesday tea with the Hatter. Run races fastest VOV install gets a hat made of pepper. JJ warns, if your training is just stale donuts and bad PowerPoints, your team will fall asleep like the Dormouse. Step 7, write it down. Ask Bill the Lizard. Bill the Lizard scribbled progress on leaves. Alice nodded. Track who learns what. If Sky B still unplugs everything, maybe he can just guard the cookies. JJ's wisdom, no training records equals lost in Wonderland with no GPS. Final chaos recap with the March Hare's drum roll, know your skills, White Rabbit approved. Test them, Queen approved chaos. No strengths, Red Queen strong, fix real messes, Sky B weak. Pick a plan, cake or potion. Train every week, not just when the cat smiles. Write it all down, Bill's job now. JJ the boss, next time on BAM TV, why IT cries when you ask for remote access and how Sky B accidentally deletes a firewall. The Impala zooms away, trailing glittery ones and zeros, leaving a 404, skill not found behind. The Queen yells off with his USB. Outro, keep your skills sharp, your training silly, and your Sky B away from the Queen's network. Bye bye, Wonderland. Let me know if you'd like this turned into a formatted PDF, illustrated ebook, or printable poster next. Next topic. BAM TV, Episode 5, Why IT Hates Your Remote Access Requests. Location, riding shotgun in the compressed air supercharger Impala, now equipped with a Niagara 4-powered VPN. Intro, remote access chaos mode. The Impala's airbagged suspension bounces violently as JJ slams the start broadcast button. The Tweedle Twins Tweedle Lady Z and Tweedle Sandra Z are furiously typing BACnet commands into a holographic dashboard while Leah G, Miriama K, and Sky B argue over a rogue firewall in the backseat. JJ the boss, yo, yo, yo. Welcome to BAM TV Episode 5, where we crack the code on why IT departments treat your remote access requests like Sky B treats a live server with pure terror. Today's question: how do you get remote access without getting your ports shut down? The Impala supercharger whines as Niagara 4 boots up, projecting a hologram of a locked server room onto the windshield. The 4 types of remote access, Impala style. 1. VPN, Virtual Private Network. The Tweedle Twins secret tunnel. What it does, like the compressed air supercharger's boost line, it creates an encrypted tunnel from your laptop to the BAS server. Where it sits, glove compartment, because IT hides it there. Key players, Leah G equals the VPN client, always reliable. Miriama K equals the firewall rules, keeps the bad guys out. JJ's pro tip: a VPN is like a secret handshake. IT loves it because they control it, and you love it because Sky B can't accidentally unplug it. 2. VNC, Team Viewer, Sky B's backdoor. What it does, like the Impala's nitrous oxide system, it's fast, risky, and IT hates it. Where it sits, trunk, because IT doesn't know it's there. Key concepts, pros: easy to set up, even Sky B can do it. Cons: IT will ban you faster than Sky B can say oops, I deleted the firewall. JJ's chaos moment: using Team Viewer in a high security building is like doing donuts in the CEO's parking lot, fun until you get caught. 3. Public IP, the Tweedle Twins risky move. What it does, like the Impala's open sunroof, it's convenient but every hacker can climb in. Where it sits, dashboard, because it's bold and reckless. Key players, Dual Nix equals 1 for the BAS, Leah G, 1 for the internet, Sky B. Nat/Pat equals the bouncer, but sometimes it lets sketchy traffic in. JJ's warning: public IPs are like leaving your car keys in the ignition, great for convenience, terrible for security. 4. Modem, the retro option. What it does, like the Impala's cassette player, it's old school but weirdly reliable. Where it sits, under the seat, because nobody uses it anymore. Key concept, pros: hard to hack, who even knows phone numbers anymore. Cons: slower than Sky B troubleshooting a BACnet MSTP loop. JJ's final thought: modems are like floppy disks, nostalgic, but please don't actually use them. Why IT says no: the airbagged suspension test, they don't understand BAS, to them, it's magic. No architecture plan, their network is held together with duct tape. Cybersecurity fears, they've seen Sky B fix things before. JJ's rule of thumb: if IT asks what's a BACnet, you're in for a long day. Final chaos, remote access war stories. The Impala's horn blares the Windows login sound as JJ wraps up. JJ the boss: alright, fam. Recap time: VPN equals it approved, like Leah G always reliable. VNC equals sketchy shortcut, like Sky B fast but dangerous. Public IP equals risky business, like the Tweedle Twins bold but reckless. Modem equals just don't, like the Impala's cassette player retro but useless. Next episode: why BACnet/IP versus MSTP is like choosing between Wi-Fi and carrier pigeons. Stay tuned. The Impala disappears in a cloud of firewall alerts, leaving only a 403 forbidden error blinking ominously. Outro: Keep your ports closed, your VPNs tight, and your Sky BS away from the server room. Catch ya next time. Cut to black. Alone access denied notification fades into the void. End scene. PS. If IT still says no, just blame the Tweedle Twins. They probably messed with the firewall. 2 Alice's Adventures in Remote Access Wonderland, episode next topic. BAM TV, episode 6 What does building automation programming look like? BAM TV, episode 6, BAS programming demystified location, riding shotgun in the compressed air supercharger Impala, now running Niagara 4 programming software on the dashboard. Intro, programming chaos mode. The Impala's airbagged suspension bounces violently as JJ slams the start broadcast button. The Tweedle Twins Tweedle Lady Z and Tweedle Sandra Z are furiously dragging logic blocks into Niagara 4 while Leah G, Miriama K, and Sky B argue over a rogue PID loop in the backseat. JJ the boss, yo, yo, yo. Welcome to BAM TV episode 6, where we turn BAS programming from cryptic alien code into something even Sky B can understand. Today's question, what does BAS programming actually look like, and why does IT still think we're hacking the Pentagon? The Impala supercharger whines as Niagara 4 boots up, projecting a hologram of logic blocks onto the windshield. BAS programming 101, Impala style, 1. Inputs and outputs, the Chicas under the hood Leah G, driver seat, equals temperature sensor, 1K nickel, always reliable. Miriama K, passenger seat, equals setpoint, writable float, likes to change her mind. Sky B, trunk, equals digital output, only knows on/off, like his attention span. JJ's pro tip, programming without knowing your I/O is like tuning an Impala without knowing if it's got a V8 or a hamster wheel. 2 logic blocks, the Tweedle Twins playground Tweedle Lady Z equals comparator block, decides if Leah G is hotter than Miriama K. Tweedle Sandra Z equals Boolean switch, the drama queen of logic gates. JJ's chaos moment, mixing up and /or blocks is like giving Sky B admin rights. Things will get weird fast. 3 design patterns, the Impala's blueprint example, basic exhaust fan control Leah G, zone temp, rightward arrow conversion block, turns resistance into degree F. Miriama K, setpoint, rightward arrow comparator block, is it hotter than 72 degree F? Sky B, digital output, rightward arrow fan command, on if hot, off if not. JJ's rule of thumb, learn design patterns like you learn Impala mods master 1, then customize. 4 kits and packages, the glove compartment of Secrets Niagara 4 framework equals pre-built blocks, like a supercharger kit. BACnet blocks equals standardized parts, like OEM Impala parts. JJ's warning, using unknown blocks is like installing eBay turbos might work, might blow up. Why programming isn't scary, the airbagged suspension test, it's just Legos, connect blocks rightward arrow make systems work. Failures are airbags, they stop disasters, not careers. IT still won't get it, to them, BACnet equals that hacker guy from movies. JJ's final tip, start small. A VOB program is easier than tuning a supercharger. Final chaos, Code War stories, the Impala's horn blares never gonna give you up in binary as JJ wraps up. JJ the boss, alright, fam. Recap time, input/outputs equals Chicas doing their jobs. Logic blocks equals Tweedle Twins making decisions. Design patterns equals blueprints for success. Next episode, why PID loops are like dating Sky B, unpredictable but thrilling. Stay tuned. The Impala disappears in a cloud of compiler errors, leaving only a success, 0 warnings, 47 errors message. Outro, keep your logic tight, your setpoints flexible, and your Sky BS away from the deploy button. Catch ya next time. End scene. PS. If your program fails, just blame the Tweedle Twins. They probably inverted a block. Alice in Automationland, Episode 6, The Mad Programmer's Tea Party. Down the rabbit hole of BAS programming. One ordinary afternoon, Alice was chasing the white rabbit, who was late for his VAV calibration, when she tumbled into the strangest control room she'd ever seen. The walls were covered in blinking Niagara 4 dashboards, and the Mad Hatter was screaming at a BACnet MSTP loop that kept changing addresses like the Cheshire Cat playing hide and seek. Oh dear, cried the White Rabbit, adjusting his tiny IP mask. We're late for the setpoint adjustment. 1. The input/output garden. Alice found herself in a garden where the flowers argued about sensor calibrations. The red R